Hey, I'm Rachel Abbott, and welcome back to Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, a new way to map the brain reveals new insights. But first,
earlier this morning in Altoona, Pennsylvania, members of the Altoona Police Department arrested Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old male, on firearms charges.
Luigi Mangione, 26, has been charged with the killing of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson after a McDonald's employee in Pennsylvania recognized him from a surveillance photo.
This case, which captured the attention of an entire nation, is another example of how connected we are and how important it is to work together, share information, and pursue every lead.
That's Jessica Tisch, NYPD Commissioner, speaking at a press conference alongside New York Mayor Eric Adams.
For just over 5 days, our NYPD investigators combed through thousands of hours of video, followed up on hundreds of tips, and processed every bit of forensic evidence, DNA, fingerprints, IP addresses, and so much more to tighten the net. We deployed drones, canine units, and scuba divers. We leveraged the domain awareness system, Argus cameras, and conducted aviation canvasses. And our detectives also went door to door, interviewing potential witnesses and doing the good old-fashioned police work that our investigators are famous for. This combination of old-school detective work and new-age technology is what led to this result today.
At the time of his arrest, Tisch said Mangione was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs, plus a firearm and suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in Thompson's killing. Mangione was initially arrested on firearms charges, but has now been charged with murder. At the press conference, the mayor also highlighted the risk from so-called 3D printed ghost guns, which was allegedly found on Mangione with the ability to fire 9mm bullets.
Ghost guns. We have really talked about this since the beginning of the administration. They could be made on a 3D printer, and they are extremely dangerous, and we must do more on the federal level to clamp down on the availability of ghost guns.
Clips there from the Associated Press. Alejandro Romero, who attended the University of Pennsylvania with Mangione, told NBC News the suspect was a member of the same Discord group as him and belonged to a group of Ivy League-educated gamers who played the multiplayer social deduction game Among Us. Next, a new way of mapping activity and connections between different regions of the brain has revealed fresh insights into how functions like language, thought, and attention are organized.
When I'm talking to you right now, there are many regions in the brain that are firing up, that are activating at the same time. So there are group interaction happening in my brain at the moment.
That's Dr. Enrico Amico, assistant professor in applied mathematics at the University of Birmingham and lead researcher of the study.
Next is to use this approach in the clinical domain, to go into neurodegeneration and test how these interactions are informative of the clinical decline of a person undergoing neurodegeneration. It can be any kind of neurodegeneration. It can be Alzheimer's, it can be Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis.
In the study, the group used data from fMRI scans recorded as part of the Human Connectome project. Taking 100 unrelated human subjects from the project's databank, the team produced detailed models of these higher-order interactions. Dr. Amico told Tech and Science Daily how they tested the approach in 3 key areas, designed to test how useful the approach is.
The first one is, imagine that I take your brain scan, okay? I take the signals from your brain, and I don't know what you were doing in the scanner. So I don't know whether you were sleeping, whether you were resting, whether you were watching a movie or performing any sort of task. Can I tell what you were doing just looking at your signals and the brain signals based on our models? So that is the first area, which is called task identification. The second one, it's actually very exciting as well, and I've done a lot of work on that, which is an area that is generally called brain fingerprinting. I'm putting back in the scanner today, I'm putting you in the scanner, me in the scanner, 100 people. Then I get the signals back, the brain signals back. Can I recognize back from you or from me just based on these brain signals. In other words, can I fingerprint your brain? So you can think of this as like kind of a QR code. And the last one is essentially using the brain signals to try to see whether there is any predictive capacity for associating these brain signals to any kind of behavior.
The results are published in Nature Communications. Now, people often say to expect the unexpected. Well, for understanding our universe, this may well be the case. Astrophysicists have said that the universe is expanding faster than it has done in the past, and they're not sure why. New measurements from the James Webb Space Telescope, NASA's most powerful galactic observatory, have confirmed these findings, previously seen by Hubble, and shows that something unknown is happening and cannot be an error from the telescope. 2 years' worth of data was taken from Webb and validates Hubble's initial findings. Experts say there could be unknown forces at work in the universe, or a gap in our understanding of the cosmos, that could require new physics. The new research was led by Nobel Prize winner and US astrophysicist Adam Rees and can be found in the Astrophysical Journal. Let's go to a very quick break. Coming up in part 2, OpenAI finally launches its artificial intelligence video generator, Sora. Welcome back. London's biggest new road infrastructure mega project will be open for drivers to use soon. But there's a catch, it won't be free. The £2 billion Silvertown Tunnel in East London is planned to ease congestion for vehicles crossing the Thames. But when it opens in the spring, motorists will have to pay up along with those also using the Blackwall Tunnel as part of new fees imposed by Transport for London. The London Standard's transport editor Ross Lydall has been examining the details.
And one of the most common concerns was that why, Sadiq, are you imposing a toll on Silvertown at £1.50, an off-peak toll, which is actually cheaper than getting the bus, which is £1.75. TfL hasn't really given a convincing answer to that other than to say that for the first year or two, buses between North and South London in that part of London will be free to use if you're travelling through the tunnel.
You can hear this full conversation with Mark Blunden on the Standard podcast. Next, it's estimated 944,000 people in the UK live with dementia, and according to analysis, dementia was the leading cause of death in the UK in 2023. Alzheimer's Research UK are warning that the crisis will only worsen because of the ageing population unless the government takes action. The charity added that the upcoming 10-year health plan should be used to future-proof NHS dementia services so the condition doesn't remain a death sentence. They say their research shows 75,393 people died from dementia in 2023, compared with 74,261 in the previous 12 months, and 69,178 in 2021, and predict the figure could rise to 1.4 million by 2040. And finally, known for its AI chatbot, ChatGPT, OpenAI have launched their much-anticipated artificial intelligence video generator, Sora, to those living in the US. This follows the recent brief leaked access from test users. Those in the UK hoping to give it a try may have a little longer to wait, while OpenAI work through a couple of hurdles, reportedly compliance requirements with the Online Safety Act in the UK and the Digital Services Act and GDPR in the EU. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Standard podcast with Mark Blunden. Tech and Science Daily returns tomorrow. For all the latest news, head to standard.co.uk.